this one is just proving to be a very funny little thing. Now we've got the two. Of course, everybody will want to congregate around the same tree, especially if they're siblings, and just take it from each other. So you see, pretty international, or pretty international for all species, this type of behavior. Prison, you're saying that it said that the Asian elephant is smarter than the African elephant. I've never heard this, and I'm not too sure if it's true or if there's any scientific basis to it, but we'll definitely try and find out and let you know. I'm not too sure how maybe they would measure this, maybe in terms of problem solving in captivity. I would assume that's the way you would go on about to try and do a study about what species of elephant is more clever. But I'm not too sure about the answer. I am sure, however, that both species are incredibly clever, especially if compared to some of the other creatures. Very beautiful. Right, sorry guys, it seems like there's a bit of a car passing by, so we're going to take this opportunity and carry on going, see if perhaps we can find Tingana. Hello! Good, thanks. How are you guys doing? Good. Is Shanae still there? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Thanks. Alright, so let's take the opportunity and the momentum to carry on. And somebody's trumpeting somewhere. Seems like one of the guys is gonna come past, so I'm just gonna let them go around because we don't want to have to go too close to the elephants, and of course we don't want them to go to the elephants, or though... Oh, look at that. Andres is being a gentleman. No, I got completely confused. No gentlemen's here. No, I'm just being horrible. They were being quite nice to us and then just moved away because it seems like someone wants to bully everybody else around, which is not nice. Hello, little youngster. What are you shouting at me for? Alright, I'm going to carry on. What is going on? He's just busy flapping his ears and throwing grass in my direction. Alright. I am going to wait for this beautiful girl to move around, but while we do that, let's go over to Taylor and see if Mvula got away.
He's given us the slip again for about the 100th time this afternoon. He was in this drainage line, obviously after he just took a drink, but now we can't seem to locate him again. So turn the game drive radio right down. We're just hoping to see that he pops up somewhere, and there's no tracks coming out just yet. It's very thick. It's almost impossible to try and guess where he's gone. He could have gone straight into the lodge, to be honest, because it's just an elephant wire that's around camp, and that wouldn't keep a leopard out, so he could be moving through camp. But then again, there's normally a lot of baboons and vervet monkeys and birds that hang around in this drainage line, so they would have shouted, and surely we would have heard something. But I think let's take a drive around towards the dam and maybe see if he hasn't snuck out. Or if you are watching the dam cam, perhaps the zoomy can have a scan about, sort of towards the northern corner, so towards the left, and see if there is anything around there. But I'm sure we would have seen him walking this way, because Taxon was a little bit further ahead of where we were, and then we were just slightly further in, and we could see up and... Oh, is he coming out? I think he's in camp. He is too. Let's see. Is he in the lodge? Yeah, he is in the lodge too. I'm trying to figure out whereabouts he is, but if you have it, actually you can have a look in there. We can show you one of the... Have you got him? Yeah. Let's see if we can see him from here. It's a bit difficult, but he's inside the fence now. It looks like it. But like I said, it doesn't really keep the predators out. I didn't see him at all, Seb. Sorry, I can't even give you a helping hand. I'm just watching. We're just waiting. Let's see.
Yeah.
Got it. There we go. Look. Naughty.
You can show the lodge.
There's one of the rooms. How great is that? Imagine you're just having a gin and tonic or perhaps a cool drink of some sort, relaxing on your deck. Or is he just on the outside? No, I think he's actually just on the outside of the fence. Yeah, he's not in. But he can go in if he wants to. And then having this walk right past. Isn't that great? He's just there. The impala, the nyala, the bushbuck, they all jumped straight over this fence. And again, it's not a bad spot to come and look for some prey. It is very windy. The animals don't like the wind, so they'll be looking for a bit of shelter so that they can hear everything around them a bit better. Aha! But will the wind be enough to hide Tingana and Mvula? And will he be able to capture something? There's normally a lot of nyala around here, also bushbuck. Let's see, he might come up towards us. Goodness, he's the master of hiding. I actually think he might have the title from Tingana of the hide-and-seek champion. Yesterday, Tesla said that Tingana was the hide-and-seek champion. I think that's not the case. I think it's actually Mvula. There we go. How's that for a shot? That's so cool. That's an amazing thing about coming out on safari, and particularly these areas where your camp is surrounded by big five terrain, and all you can see things like this. It's a common sight in the sands. In fact, the leopards are well acquainted with the lodges, and any guide that's worked in the Sabi sands is not a stranger to facing a spotted cat, whether it's on the walkway or perhaps just drinking from the lodge pool. That's also a very common sight. Even sleeping on the couches outside, they're known to do things like that. They're not afraid. Look at Vatumi, for example. He lives around in Coral. Hello, beautiful boy. Yes, look at those eyes, turning back and giving us a glance. Well-trained leopard, this one. You can see he knows the ropes. He's not inexperienced. I feel like it's inbred into the Sabi sand leopards. They just know how to pose so well. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go around quickly. Quickly. Meow. We'll go all the way around here. I know a sneaky spot through, because I've driven this route I don't know how many times, coming to look for things. And this is what helps, is that the more of these off-road adventures I take you on, the quicker the route I can find of a way in, because I would have driven in and around here. I did this the other day. Just watch this buffalo thorn. Okay, and then we gotta go. Is it this way? Might be. Maybe I've gotten too eager. Oh. I'm just trying to see where, if it was down here, it was one of these ways. I think it was this way around. Yes. Where is he? Oh, yeah. Great. Great stuff. Roll on in. Hello, beautiful. But there he is indeed. Which way are you going to go now, mister? You're going to pose nicely and walk over the top of that tree. Perhaps. Or no. Are you going to step on it? Yes, you lovely boy. He did exactly what I asked him to do. But he outsmarted us, Sebastian. He's too clever. We're going to have to go around. No, I'm going to go over that and back around this way. Please be a spot to go up. Please don't be too tricky. Yeah, not the greatest, but we'll take it. Whoop. Sorry, I make all sorts of strange noises when I drive. It's as if I'm actually working hard. I'm not doing anything. The car's doing all the work. Come on, Rusty, you can get over there. That's easy. Maybe I must click at it like a horse. Where have you gone? You're on the termite mound right above us. And I'm just trying to quickly navigate through here. Sorry, quarry tree. I don't want to drive over you. I just want you to move next to the car. Yes, there we go. I don't see... Oh, there he is. Aha! Now we've got another view straight in front of us. You sneaky little boy, you. And off he goes again. So he's not going towards Tula Dam now, sorry. He's had his drink of water. He won't need to have another drink. So it's a good spot to potentially find animals if he goes back that way. Come on. Don't fail me now, Rusty.
We are bouncing from leopard to leopard this afternoon. So we got back to Tingana, and I do apologize if you find this a little bit gory, but it's a bit, well, it is the natural world, and this is what a leopard has to do to survive. So, oh my. Seems like he has obviously been busy feeding on this warthog, and apparently he's been around here the whole day. Now, there are no more news of Tundi, so maybe a little bit later I'm gonna go back around to the other spot where we had her earlier this morning, but so far nobody's seen her. I do think that Kuchava was seen slightly earlier as well, but you know, it's just a very complicated day today in terms of the leopard world. Everyone's just been out and about, just trying to confuse us all. At least Tingana seems quite intent on doing one thing that leopards do best, and that is gorging himself and eating as much as he can. I thought maybe this piglet was slightly bigger. I am hoping he's gonna put it up in a tree, or hopefully not finish it all today, so that he'll be around tomorrow. However, judging by how much he seems to have eaten already, I think maybe he's going to finish this piglet by pretty much sunset. Right, perhaps not sunset, because today is a very cloudy day, so sunset seems like it's going to come earlier. You are looking very funny hiding like that inside of the warthog. Okay, maybe, you know, somebody wants to be a warthog for Halloween. Now, he has moved about, I would say, a meter from where we left him this morning, and that has been pretty much it. I don't think there have been any reports from the guest at the lodge of seeing a leopard gone and drinking down at the main dam where he was, or down at the main dam where I think it's the only water source that there is around here. So also leopards can get a lot of the water and the moisture that they need from the blood of the animals that they eat. Too hairy, hey? Now, this that he's doing, he's probably just licking off the blood that is around there, because the blood will still have nutrients that are crucial for his survival. But as well, he is going to try and probably loosen up the skin from the bone so that he can get to the meaty parts. Diana, you say that the warthog is more hairy than what you thought. Yeah, I think so too. So this young warthog, they will have the typical mane that goes on the top of their back, but also their whiskers on the side are quite long, and the idea for those whiskers is to try and fool creatures like Tingana into thinking that those are tusks, so that he will not go for them and thinking that it's a much older individual and a potential injury waiting to happen. However, it seems like in this case it didn't serve the piglet well, and now he's just licking all around, I'm sure to get some of the blood, but he's just trying to open the carcass up and just to try and get the skin off so that he can get to the meat that's in between the skin and what's left of the bones. And just by looking at it, it seems like it's only the front half that he hasn't eaten. It seems like the back half of the body is not there anymore. He's eating quite fiercely. You see, he's being quite careful, and he's just plucking all the hair so that he doesn't end up eating too much of this hair, and trying to get, again, like I said, to the meaty part. Very interesting behavior. So now he's almost like taking big chunks, trying to get rid of, it seems like he's going for the mane of the mane of the warthog, hopefully being able to open up a spot there to try and feed on what looks like to be the sides of the warthog. And again, if you find this a bit too hard to watch, please just do feel free to walk away, maybe go and make yourself a cup of coffee and come back a little bit later. It is quite tough to see these things when they happen, but like we said earlier, this is very much raw nature, and in order for Tingana to survive, then he's got to go hunting. I think maybe somebody's got a bit of hair on his mouth. Listen, you're wondering why he's not using his claws to open the skin. Well, that whole motion of just trying to rip it open apart like we do with our hands is just very typical of humans and primates. Leopards don't. He won't put his claws on the one side and then the other claws on the other side and try to open it like a packet. So they do it in a slightly different fashion. You see, he is using his claw there to try and hold it still while it tries to get rid of all the hair, and then eventually he will try to open up the skin. A lot of the times what they will do is that they'll start trying to cut it, and you'll see that their head is going to tilt sideways, and they're going to use their back teeth to try and cut it open like in a scissor motion. And then once he does that, then he'll be able to get onto the rest of the meat. Monique London, you're saying that you don't think you can watch this as you love warthogs. Please, if you find this a bit too much, like we said, you're more than welcome to just walk away. It is something that's hard to see because we also like the prey species, but it is incredible raw power what we're watching here, and it's exactly what has allowed this leopard to live and succeed as the dominant male in this area. And perhaps maybe you'd like to do that now as he starts crunching through the bones. Alright, I don't think there is that much left in there actually. I think he's pretty much taken everything out. I don't see any of the organs, so those ones are clearly long gone. And I think maybe he's just trying now for the last bit. So it would seem like he's been busy feeding pretty much throughout the day. And you can hear the crunching of the bones there. That's a bit... whew. And you can hear his rough tongue. Now he keeps looking in this direction, but he's not looking at us, he's looking past us, so I wonder if perhaps he's worried about some of these other leopards around here. I think that's him trying to get through the ribs now. And there we go, now he's using his back teeth as a scissor to try and cut open the skin and just remove it so that he can get to the proper meat. There we go. You see he's managed to open it just by using that scissor-like motion of his teeth. He seems a bit weary. I'm sure that the wind has also got him a bit edgy, and as well as the fact that there were more leopards seen around this area. So you see he's not using his canines to feed. He's just using the back of his teeth to open everything up. The canines have more of an important function once they need to grab things and hoist them off a tree, or when they try to suffocate their prey and bring it down. Cubby, you're 15 years old and you're wondering if he would fight off hyenas if they came to steal his kill. Very likely, although I don't think he would fight for too long, other than the fact that doesn't seem to be a lot of meat left. So likely if hyenas came around, there would be a lot of growling, and I'm sure he would, because it's such a small kill, likely he would try to grab it and run and put it up a tree quickly. But leopards have to be very careful when it comes to hyenas, so if he found himself outnumbered, then maybe he wouldn't defend it as much, because he's had a good meal, so perhaps he would just leave it to the hyena so that he could carry on. As being solitary animals, they have only themselves to look after themselves, so he doesn't want to get an injury. Although I think Tingana's quite a ferocious creature. I don't think too many hyenas would try their luck with him. Although it would be quite interesting to watch. I think He's breaking down the rib cage now. So there's still quite a lot of meat left in there that he's after. But I think the juiciest parts, or the more meaty parts of the warthog, of the piglet, are already gone. See, here we go. He's licking again to try and Spirulina, you're saying what wonderful wasteless creatures, and that we should all learn. It is pretty incredible how in nature everything serves a function, and just how nothing is wasted. So even the bones and whatever it is that Tingana does not eat, other creatures, perhaps other rodents, perhaps even the hyenas might come around and eat it. Because once you manage to make a kill out here, these animals do take advantage of pretty much everything, and that's why they will eat all of the organs, and except the stomach contents, because that part they don't really like. Incredible. It is, like I said, it is quite interesting how nothing goes to waste, and even the stomach contents that Tingana will not eat, and we saw it, I think it was yesterday morning, those stomach contents are going to act as fertilizer for new grass to grow, and perhaps even other warthogs or antelope like the duikers and the steenbok and impala would come and feed from it. So it's interesting how out here in nature everything gets recycled and nothing really goes to waste. So even life that has died, like the warthog, will play a part in sustaining more life eventually on. So interesting. Although I'm going to say something terribly mean now, so please excuse me in advance, but if he did manage to put what's left of the warthog on top of his face, that would be just hilarious. Because it almost seems like that's what he's trying to do. Interesting. I hope that Tundi is not too far away. I don't think, well, we were right, he wouldn't have shared his kill with her, but I wonder if perhaps she's just lying down somewhere along in the grass, but it would be very hard to see her. Andrew, you're wondering if Tumba is Tingana's offspring. That is a very interesting question, one that I don't have an answer for. I think he is one of the suspected fathers of Tumba. However, I'm sure long-time viewers that are a bit more aware of the leopard dynamics that I'm still learning would be able to correct me if I'm wrong. So if it's not Tingana, or if it is Tingana, please just do let us know using the hashtag SafariLive. I am pretty certain that Tingana is Tumba's father. However, I could be wrong, because I know Tundi's been spending time around here, and Quarantine is another one of the males that's in the vicinity. Interesting. It seems like it's going to finish off all those ribs. You do have a bloody face. Alright, in Texas, you're wondering what happens in an area that gets overpopulated by leopards. Well, I don't think we've seen that just yet. So what I would imagine would happen is leopards are quite nomadic creatures, and it's very hard to contain them even in game reserves. So more often than not, if their resources in the area where they are too highly competed for or are depleted, they would move into new areas and establish themselves there. Funny enough, leopards are even found amongst big cities. So I wouldn't be surprised. You are looking at something. I wonder what. Is Tundi somewhere around here? So this is why it's so important to just, if you're doing a habitat management and your animals cannot move out of the particular area where they're in, just so that you take into consideration what it's called the carrying capacity of the land, or how many animals of a certain species can sustain themselves naturally. There's a lot of the times what will happen if you have a boom of a population, then obviously all of the prey species numbers are going to go down, and then everybody seems that the population of leopards is going to carry on growing, but they're going to reach pretty much what's called a plateau, or a straight line where the population is not going to be able to grow anymore, because perhaps there won't be enough food or enough water or enough mating opportunities, and then the population is going to on its own slowly start going down until it reaches a new level of equilibrium. This was probably one of the hardest classes that I took or that I had to go through while I was doing my studies in conservation science, just about the carrying capacity and how many animals you could have in a particular area, because all of the answers are different. And they vary because all of the species are so intertwined between one another that just having too many of one might affect too many of the other species. There's, for example, a very big problem in the Kruger National Park. A lot of people say that there's quite an overpopulation, and one of the creatures that are seeing the effects of the overpopulation of elephants are actually the ground hornbills, the big birds that we saw at the beginning of the drive, because they're not finding enough trees where they would like or where they would prefer to nest. Now, they're very fuzzy with their nesting preferences, and a lot of the times they seem to favor old jackalberry trees or knobthorns, but because there are too many elephants, and elephants eat this tree before they manage to get to a certain height or a certain age, then there are less nesting areas for the ground hornbills. So it gets very tricky. I would imagine if you had too many leopards in an area, maybe you would have far fewer hyenas, or if you had too many lions in an area, then you would see that the leopard numbers would start going down, and perhaps as well as the hyenas, because they would likely outcompete all of them. So we are very lucky in this area. In this area in general, the Sabi sand is well known for having a high density of leopards, and that's probably why it is believed that they are perhaps slightly more social than what it was initially believed that they were. Seems like we have reached a consensus that Tingana is indeed Tamba's father. Thank you guys for helping me out on that one. I still get a bit confused sometimes when we talk about all this lineage, but I'm getting there. I'm hoping that I will get there. I do get a bit confused because then Tristan starts bringing leopards from far back, other leopards that he knew from his time at Chitwa, and then my brain is a bit overflown with cat information. Now it seems like Taylor had a bit of an incident with Rusty, so she's back at camp and she's trying to fix it, so hopefully she will be able to fix it and maybe have one last look at Mvula. But if not, then we are very happy to have you guys on board while we enjoy this pretty incredible sighting that we've had today with this cat. I think it's been quite interesting perhaps for everyone to have seen the difference between what is considered to be an older male leopard and a leopard that's just in his pride. And Mvula does have that almost like that command of respect of a male leopard, very tattered ears, and perhaps he doesn't look to be just as dominant, or just, I don't even know if dominant is the right word, but have that look that Tingana has. You have done a very good job in finishing this kill. I am really hoping that he's gonna go onto the dam and have a drink, and I wonder what it is that he's looking at. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually drove past a leopard. Mia, you're saying you don't mind seeing leopards eat because they don't eat or they don't fight for food as much as lions. Is that correct, Ellies? I think leopards are slightly cleaner when it comes to eating, and perhaps it's because there's just one of them, so there's less of an argument over who gets to eat what and when. But I'm also quite happy to spend my time. I'm more interested to see what he's going to do when he finishes it, because there's not too much left in there. Take care, you're wondering if leopards get meat stuck in between their teeth like humans do. I imagine they would do, and that it bothers them, but likely they will use their paws or their tongue to try and get those meaty pieces outside of or unstuck in between their teeth. Perhaps even they get a bit of the hair stuck in between the teeth. I would imagine that's quite uncomfortable for all of them. Who knows? Maybe Tingana's actually eating so quickly and not taking it as easy as maybe he would normally because of the wind and because of the fact that it's making him a bit wary if there were another predator to approach, like a hyena or another leopard. Perhaps this wind would take the scent away or just cover its sounds. Because he's been feeding quite in a non-very relaxed way to what sometimes leopards do. And he keeps taking his gaze up and scanning the area and looking around and perhaps hearing every now and again. So I wonder. I would really like for Tandi to be around, or Kuchava, that I haven't met. But I think she might be a bit of a tough call. Leslie, you say that he does seem to be looking around for something. He does, and I just keep putting my binoculars on every now and again and just having a bit of a scan around this area, but I cannot really see anything. So I'm not too sure. I think maybe if not, we're going to wait for him to finish this, and I'm going to drive around to where we had Tandi and see if perhaps we can see her from around there. Although I would imagine that she's not here, just because if Tandi was around here and Tingana was eating all this kill, perhaps she would be in a bit more of a conspicuous place, or a place that would be easier for us to spot her. Or perhaps Tandi is in there in the bushes and we just haven't seen her. I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, I'm gonna use my binoculars and try to see in between that very thick bush. But I cannot really see anything in there. Not even the back legs of the warthog. Very interesting leopard dynamics today. Christine, you're wondering why he hasn't hoisted his kill, and well, there are a few trees around here, and particularly marulas, that he seems to enjoy putting up trees, but I think maybe it was just not worth it. Leopards don't always have to hoist their kills, and I think because of the fact that this was quite a small piglet that he caught, he could just very easily finish it in a day without having to balance on top of a tree and try to move around. So he's just hitting it underneath the bushes and where he has been the whole day, and now he's busy feeding on it. And often you'll see that leopards will hide it and will hide their kills on the ground. Shadow does it quite often. Every time that I've seen her with a kill, she's never put it up on a tree, even if it's something small. And in general, I've seen other females as well. Sometimes when they catch things that are too big, they prefer to eat some of it just to make it lighter before they try hoisting it. I think in this particular occasion, it was just not worth it. He's pretty much almost finished this warthog, and maybe putting it up a tree wouldn't really warrant all the extra effort. It's funny, every time that I think that there's possibly no ways that there's still meat attached to that skin, it seems like he decides to carry on digging further. And I think he's now eating the spine. Now, as we know, the medulla, or the most central part of the spine, is very rich in nutrients, and often they will get it. Can you see a leopard? Ah, okay. A herd that is a lot taller than me can see some. Is it impala? Some impala on top of where Mvula is. Not too close, but just not too far in the distance either. Now we are parked at a bit of an angle, so I'm on the downslope. Ah, there we go. Oh my goodness, it's a bush bug. Oh, it's a nyala. Oh, Tingana's definitely spotted the nyala now. Where are you going? Oh my goodness. Very unaware, this little nyala. So they are just a few meters apart, and well, Tingana definitely knows that there's something there. I, however, don't think that this nyala knows that Tingana's here. It's actually giving its back to Tingana. And I think maybe he's just pondering on what to do next. Would he try to go for another kill? Is it worth it? Am I too full? Is the opportunity right? Or the nyala's just eating now? And you see, this is why it's such good weather for animals to go hunting. This nyala is completely unaware of the fact that there's a very big full-bellied male leopard here. And I think maybe he's going to try his luck. Are you? Well, it's not like he's entirely given up, but I think he's also hiding. And the nyala's slowly approaching. I think maybe try and zoom out so we can see where the nyala is. There we go. You see how close this nyala is to this leopard. I think my heart skipped a beat there. Whew. Very unaware, this nyala, of the fact that Mr. Tingana is right next to it. Now I'm sure you can still hear it moving to the right of him, but we cannot see it anymore. And I can hear something else moving around. But nyalas are often in groups, so I wonder if perhaps there isn't another one. Oh, there's another nyala approaching. Tiana, you're wondering if they can smell the carcass. I don't think the wind is blowing in that specific direction, so I don't think they can. Or perhaps they haven't recognized all these scents. So you see the nyala is just on top in a straight line from where he's facing, just hiding between those bushes. Oh my goodness. I think this is a very tense moment. I think maybe he's considering all his options. He is quite full. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Perhaps he's waiting for them to approach a little bit more. And he's lucky because the wind is in his favor, so it's not blowing in the direction. His scent is not going in the direction of the nyala. I think maybe the other nyala's just gone around. Nick, you're wondering if leopards are opportunistic. Yes, they are, very much so. You see this one, he's still considering what to do. He's got to kill, but he's got perhaps an opportunity to make another one. Now will he? This is an incredible screenshot. Look at that. The leopard and the nyala so close, and it still hasn't realized what's around here. So likely the nyala can see us and can definitely hear me, but they're used to us, so there's nothing to fear around here. Perhaps maybe now that the wind is swirling, they're picking up the scent of the leopard. Alright, that's the alarm call of the nyala. That bark is just letting the predators know that they've been spotted. Whew, that was close. For 1 second there I thought Tingana was definitely going to try his luck, but it seems like maybe he is a little bit too full. My god, I think my heart did stop for a moment there. That was incredible to see the nyala right on top of Tingana and him just like standing perfectly still. Wow, I think I'm even getting hot. Maybe I'll even start taking some of my jerseys off. Oh, I can't believe, like, that. How epic was that? 2 of them. And it's amazing just how close they can walk to the predators without actually knowing that they are there. I think this nyala just got lucky because just towards the end the wind started swirling again, so I think that's when it picked up the scent. I am still not fully convinced that nyala saw the leopard because she wasn't facing in the right direction. I think it just managed to smell it, and maybe, you know, there's something funny going around here. I can smell a leopard. Alarm, off we go. Let's just rather run. That was incredible. And there's Tingana nonchalant, busy cleaning himself up. Who knows, maybe this has spiked his appetite a little bit more. Perhaps he's in the mood for nyala now. Christopher, you say that it doesn't get more live than this. I don't think it does. I think what we experienced together a few moments ago was something so incredible and so unique. It also gives a whole different insight into how steady a leopard has to be and how they have to approach their prey. And I think maybe if he hadn't been that full, perhaps he would have gone around and tried to sneak away from the nyala. But I won't lie, I was kind of hoping to see him jump all the way from here, just because that would have been incredible. But I think this sighting that we had, wow, just wow. And you never know when something's gonna come around. I think well done Gert for spotting them. I wouldn't have thought that they were up there, and I think it was good, and we managed to enjoy it because we were prepared, because you could see them from all the way up there. Whew. All right. How do we go back to normal after that? See, typical boy, he's just like, what? I'm just gonna carry on grooming myself, nothing to watch here. But we did. I think maybe perhaps now he's going to leave that little bit of the carcass that there is left, although knowing Tingana, he might just try to get even the last little bit of food. And I wonder if it wasn't the nyalas what he was listening to earlier on. Perhaps he could pick on their scent or their noises, although they came from the wrong direction. So I'm still hoping that there will be another one of those female leopards not too far from us. Whew. Interesting times. And now obviously he's been putting his head and his paws very far into that piglet's body, and now he has to groom himself to try and make himself clean again and just get rid of all that blood. Exquisite, guess you say that your heart is still not beating properly. I don't think mine is either. Oh my god, there's another one. I can't do this again. There's another nyala. It's going more to the left hand side. Okay. Alright, seems like this wasn't such a stressful event as before. Definitely another nyala, but who knows, maybe this will give Tingana a good idea of where to start moving if he fancies himself another bite. Although his stomach looks quite full to me, so perhaps he'll be fine. Or who knows, maybe he will even start patrolling now that he's got a full belly and go all the way back to Djuma and scent mark. Oh, now you've seen it. Or you've heard it. It would have been amazing though if Tundi was on the other side. Alright, well, how was that for you? Now you see he's got a clean nose now, cleaning his paws, making sure that all the bloody bits are gone, so that he's a clean leopard once more. And He's gotten so big. I remember when I first saw him about 2 years ago, he was still quite a big boy, but I didn't think he was that big. And now, every time I've seen him, I just can't believe how big he is. And that julep, that extra like skin that they've got on the bottom of their neck, is just, look at that. If that's not pure power, then I'm not too sure what is. And you can see he's very fat tummy, very full of warthog. Seems like Taylor's still fighting the fight with Rusty, so hopefully she'll be able to come right. But if not, then we shall carry on sitting with Tingana over here. I think it's proven to be quite an interesting sighting, and I think once more the game of patience and just sticking around and letting the animals play out has paid off for all of us. I mean, that was a very, very intense sighting we all just went through. Although I think that if there's another nyala coming, I might die. My heart might stop. Are you looking at them again? Leslie, you say cats are such clean animals. Yes, they are, aren't they? And it's very important for leopards. They don't want to get that scent stuck in them, and they don't want their coat to be dirty, because you don't really want rotten pieces of meat on your coat, do you? Very hygienic, even lions. And every time after they eat, you can see them. I mean, when we first arrived, Tingana had a bloody nose. His face was very dirty, and now look at him. He looks like a completely different creature. Maybe this is the gentleman version, and perhaps we were seeing the Tingana on full feeding mode. Hannah, you're 9 years old from South Africa, and you're wondering if leopards hide their scent. Well, they do try to do that when they go hunting, and then you will often see them rolling in elephant or especially buffalo dung, just to try and cover their scent so that they're not easily, or their smell is not easily spotted by some of the other creatures. And sometimes what they do as well, for example, if they're at a kill, they will try to cover their kill up if it's something too big, so that it doesn't start smelling and other animals don't come and get hold of it. I keep hearing things around us, so I wonder if perhaps those impalas, well, are they coming this way? No. My goodness. Okay, no, the impala don't seem to be coming this way, but they are somewhere in the distance. We are unfortunately in a bit of a dip, or also known and very much hated as a drainage line. I think this is probably the word that we use the most out on game drive every day. So we can't really see what's on top of us, which is fine. We just really want to look at the leopard that's down here with us. Oh, it seems like Taylor managed to win the fight with Rusty, so let's go over to her and find out what happened.
I'm too scared to tell any of you what happened, but I'm back. Sorry, Rusty, I apologize. I'm injured, but we've temporarily fixed Rusty to see if we can get another view of Mvula. What had happened is that last little bit when I was trying to go around the termite mound, I think one of those dead trees obviously rolled, and a bit of a branch spiked up and made a very small hole in the fuel tank, which is the fuel tank's actually plastic. So we've actually just used an adhesive and closed up that hole, so we'll see how long it lasts. We didn't give it much time to dry, but even if it just holds for the last little bit of show, we can redo it again this evening, and then it can sit for a couple of hours and it should be fine. It wasn't too bad. It was, at least we were able to fix it. I am just checking to make sure every now and then that there's no fuel dripping out behind the car, but we'll also just keep the fuel at a low sort of level, but it's right up at the top of the tank, so it's not particularly anything serious. And it's amazing what you can do as a quick fix out here in the bush. It happens really quickly. But how exciting with Tingana! I was at the car though, underneath shining the light, as Connor and Herbie were puttying away trying to fix this little hole. as I drive past on the dam cam, if you look under the car, let me know if you see any leaking fuel by too. So I didn't really see, but Sebastian said that Tingana was chasing a kudu. How exciting! My goodness, the leopards are performing in this weather. It is of course the ideal weather for this. What did you say, Seb? Oh, not a kudu, sorry, an nyala. My bad. I'm just always triple checking to see if we're anything dropping. Now Tingana, Mvula's moved quite a distance away. He's apparently just off Gari Kutla, and Mike said he just relocated him again, so he's been... Woo! There goes my hat and there goes the mic. And if you take your hands off of the steering wheel of Rusty, well, yes, yeah, you don't stay on the roads. You gotta hold on at all times. That just shows you how windy it is, because my hat is always on quite tight too. I'll check the mic is still in there. Okay, so we're here on Gari Cutline. Mike hasn't said he's crossed yet, but I think he's near the fire break, so we should get another view of him. I think it's almost time to bring out some lights. Okay, down we go. Fuel tank seems to be stable as well. The fuel's not dropping anymore. And the worst thing was that I had just filled up the car this afternoon too, so it was as full as it could be. But we'll see. I can't smell the fuel anymore either, so that's good. Whew! I'm adding all sorts of things to my list, but these things happen, they're inevitable when you do go off-road like that. You're gonna start breaking things. These cars do get bumped and bruised often, but we bush mechanics. Saber, you said that I need a military grade vehicle. I'm looking for one. No jokes, because I think I look quite nice driving a tank around. I think that's the type of car that I need. Can you imagine Taylor's tank safaris? From there you could stand up and scan. That'd be quite nice for Kenya too. You'd be so high up. So yes, I definitely need something like that. Okay, almost up near the fire break. Hopefully we'll get there just in time to have one last look at him. Actually, I suppose I shouldn't blind everyone with these LEDs on the side. We're just going to keep scanning out here to see if we can find Mike's vehicle. Fire break's probably about another 100 meters away. So we'll just keep pushing in the wind. What an exciting afternoon it's been though. Definitely one of the best drives I've ever had, even with the little inconveniences of breaking down, that type of thing. But I think it makes the safaris more exciting, and I just can't believe how quickly they managed to fix that too. They did that, it didn't take them very long. So we've got some experienced bush mechanics, and it's nice watching them, because now I learn, and now next time I know exactly what to grab and I can actually fix it myself. I won't have to call on anyone to help me, which will be nice. Quite nice to be independent sometimes. Okay, can start to see Biffle's hook cut line, so we should see Mike's vehicle shortly. Right, where are you? Mvula, please catch something for us. Oh, at one point I forgot to tell you before I realized the damage I had done. There was a herd of impala not too far from Mvula, and he had the wind blowing in his favor. The scent was blowing straight towards him, but he didn't go after them. He carried on. So I don't know if he missed them. He wasn't concentrating very well. He just missed a whole herd. They wouldn't have even known he was coming. At quite a bit of cover too. But anyways, okay. Here is the not the cut line. Here's the fire break. And he asked if he's got my audio. Mike, do you have my audio? Again. Sorry, Mike's giving me an update of what Tingana is thinking about. Mike, I'm Gari Cutline now, but also Cutline. Where are you? Copy, thank you. Okay. We're just going to go back to the fire break very quickly. Let's hope that there's some antelope and things around here. Right. Let's quickly see if we can get a view of Mvula, because I don't know if it's going to be our last view, because he is really, really close. And we might also have to move out, because if another vehicle comes that hasn't seen him yet, we have been with him for most of the afternoon, so we can't be too selfish. There's a car. Let's hang tight. Let's quickly have a look at him. We should get a view shortly. Right. Not rushing over, just taking it easy to get into the sighting. We don't want to give anybody a fright. But you can just see the car getting closer and closer. Where are you? I think he's here near the base of this tree. Let's just check. Oh, he's right here. He's just sitting right next to this car. We'll go this way around. We won't be doing any extravagant off-roading, as you can imagine. I'm just trying to figure out how we're actually going to get a view. Can you just see him? I just don't want to block his view here. We're going to have to do that gap. That little gap between. He's just in there. Look how camouflaged he is. You can barely even see him. And we saw how well camouflaged works earlier with Ellie and Tingana hiding in the long grass. And you can see how even more camouflaged he is also in this golden yellow grass. Now he's alert. He's very alert. He's been like this for pretty much the entire afternoon. He's actively searching out for something to eat. And if you have just joined us, perhaps you were busy at work, maybe your day is just coming to an end, or maybe it's lunchtime now. This is Mvula that we're looking at, so it's not the same leopard that Ellies got. We found him earlier today, right at the beginning of show, literally right as we started, about 10 seconds before. He, as they were counting us down before they say, you are live, or live, depending on who's directing. And he popped out around the corner, which was really cool. No, he's just listening. I'm also scanning in the direction that he's looking at, but I can't see anything just yet. I can hear a couple of drongos in the distance making a bit of noise. But other than that, I don't see anything just yet. Also just listening to see if I can maybe hear anything, but it's making it very difficult to hear anything with all of this wind rustling through the grass and the leaves. Now I know it's not the greatest view of him, but I think potentially we've got a better spot because he's actually looking in this direction. So it doesn't matter where we park, he's still going to be hidden behind the grass. There we go, this is beautiful. Right, so someone has actually pulled out of the sighting, which is quite nice for us, which means that there is a spot available if anybody wants to come and we won't feel pressured to move, which is good. There's more than enough space to put 3 vehicles here, and he doesn't seem to mind them at all. My goodness, I now just smell like petrol. It's so fantastic. It's really quite nice. Now at some point we are going to have to put our infrared light on because it's very dark. Now Natalie, you're wondering how do we keep the animals from noticing us and reacting to us? Well, you see, the whole thing started about almost 30 years ago when they first started to interact with, interacting with vehicles and the various animals. And it took quite a long time for the cats to become habituated to the vehicles, as well as the elephants, the rhinos, the buffalo, and all the rest of the wonderful creatures that roam the greater Kruger National Park. So because we've been doing it for such a long time, a lot of these cats are born and don't know life any different without vehicles, so they really just do go about their day. Some leopards are a little bit more skittish than others, and often young cats are nervous of us, and they'll learn from their parents' behavior. So typically, if you have a mom or female leopard, that's quite relaxed around cars, her offspring will take after that. Unless they've had any bad experiences, then you can imagine that will definitely affect them. And that's why the habituation process, of these cats is so important. And it's very important that you're quite sensitive when they are young, and ensure that they don't have any bad experiences, because it will affect them when they're older. For instance, look at Kuchava. Kuchava means skittish, and that's Tandi's older daughter, who's also been causing quite a stir at the moment. And she was very nervous of the cars, I believe, when she was younger, and now she doesn't seem to mind the vehicles at all. She actually made a kill with a friend of mine that was visiting at Chitwa Plains, and he's a photographic guide, and he was very fortunate enough to see his first leopard kill from start to finish made by Kuchava. And she caught a nyala, which is amazing. So it just goes to show that a little bit of patience. As she got older, she became a lot more relaxed around the vehicles. Some cats just take a bit longer. Lions, on the other hand, my goodness, they're the easiest ones to habituate. The little cubs are quite naughty. They often come walking right up to your car when they're only a few weeks old. I think, okay, should we reposition now? Everybody's left us. We're on our own again with this cat. I'm just going to go slightly further forward, not too much. Oh, what are you doing? What is he seeing? Right, I don't know what he has seen, but he's got excited about something. I'm going to send you back across to Ellie and see what the king is up to.
Well, it seems like we are enjoying the last bit of the sun. Unfortunately, we didn't have too much of a view of the sunset from where we were standing, or where we are actually parked, because we cannot really stand with a male leopard close to us. But it seems like it's going to be yet another wonderful evening, and we were a bit scared as we started driving that the clouds were going to make us all feel very cold and be blown away. Fortunately, that didn't happen, and we've just carried on staying down here with Tingana himself. Now, it seems like he's finally got his head up, but he's been having a nap after pretty much since you guys last saw him. So after eating all that meat, I'm sure he's going to need all the energy reserves that he's got to be able to digest that pure protein. Now imagine if you guys eat meat and you've ever had a barbecue or braai, like we call it over here. If you have too much meat, then you feel super heavy, and it takes a while longer for your body to process the meat and just digest it. It's the same for them, although they do gorge themselves so that they can pretty much almost like store all these meat and just make sure they get a good meal, because they don't know when they're going to get the next one. He's going to have to spend a lot of energy now trying to process everything he's put into his body. And I mean, his stomach is still looking quite big. Look at that. You can just see the white roundness of his belly. Alright, we're going to switch to IR, so everything is going to be black and white on your screen. There we go, just for a bit of better contrast. Well, I'm still amazed by this technology. I think this is pretty incredible that we went from halfly seeing him to seeing him perfectly well. Now, this is the infrared light. He doesn't know that the light is there. It just helps the camera pick it up a little bit better. And someone's quite sleepy. Now, there were some more impala that Herd spotted once more, but they were a bit further away. So, I mean, if he wants to get up and going, and if he's in the mood to try and get something else, then he's got plenty of options all around here. But perhaps he's going to have to sleep for a few hours before he decides to start moving around. I think maybe that whole tense moment in between him and the nyalas kind of took it away from him. And that's why he's gone back to sleeping. What are you hearing now? It's getting a bit too dark, so if he can hear something that we can't see, then it's going to be a bit trickier for us to try and find it now. But again, he went from very sleepy to picking up on something, and it's not that little insect flying around him. And you see, again, he's facing in that same direction, so I wonder if perhaps he can hear Kuchava in that direction. I think quarantine was found on Chitwa Plains as well, which is roughly the direction he's looking into, but I'm sure that's not who he thinks is around here. Sorry, Brandon, you're asking how many leopards we have at Djuma. Is that correct, Alice? Alright, well, we can count them. So at the moment that we see, we've got Mvula and Tingana that come into Djuma, although technically speaking, Tingana is not on Djuma, he's on Chitwa today. And then we've got Tandi and Tamba, and we've got Shadow and the Cub. So that's 6 of them. Shongile and Hosanna, that is 8 of them. 8 leopards that we see quite often, which is a very high amount. It's almost like if we had to give them all their territorial space, that would be about a hectare each, or just over a hectare each, 100 hectares each, which is quite a lot of space. But yet again, it's quite densely populated. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone that we see in Djuma every so often. I think those are the ones that at least that I've been seeing in the time that I've been at Djuma. Every now and again we will have other leopards that will come. We had in Chile the other day that it was quite unusual. I think maybe Tiyani made an appearance once. I don't think Salaesh has made any appearances up here. And I think those are the ones. So it's quite a high density area if we consider that a lot of these leopards are not fully grown yet. I mean, Shongile and Hosanna have sort of been forced into adulthood. Tamba is still, we think, with Tandi, and then Shadow's cub is just a few months old, so she's definitely still very much dependent on her mother. Interesting. So, great place, the Sabi Sand, to come and look for leopard, especially because they are so habituated to the vehicles, and they just allow us to come close to them and have a glimpse at their lives and see what they do. And I think it is quite an honor to be able to spend as much time with these wild creatures as we do. I mean, you can ask pretty much anyone that's come and done a self-drive in the Kruger National Park. Spotting a leopard could perhaps be the hardest thing that there is out there. I have gone onto Kruger so many times and just seen absolutely no cats. And look at us today, we even had that epic sighting with the nyala coming around and sniffing. So I think we've been very, very lucky today. Austin, you're wondering who my favorite leopard is. It was funny, I was actually thinking about it today, and I don't think I've chosen just yet. In terms, I think I should have a favorite female and a favorite male, so I'm kind of leaving the door open for all of them to surprise me and see which one I'm going to spend the most time with. I am really fond of Mvula, like I said, because I knew his mother, so that just gives him automatic brownie points. But Tingana I don't mind, although I think I lean a bit more towards Hosanna. I don't know, there's something about Hosanna that I like, but I'm not too sure yet. And then in terms of the girls, I think I'm leaning towards Tandi, just because she's been so completely horrible for me to find. But once that I finally managed to see her, it was in such an epic sighting with Tingana this morning. So very hard to choose. I can't choose just yet. Seems like Tula got her infrared on as well, so let's go over to her and see what Mvula looks like in black and white.
Still black and white. He's sleeping in the grass at the moment. He's taking a break. I think he is exhausted, as you can see. He's staring off into the distance, so we've decided to just come around this way to see if we can spot what he was looking at earlier. But doesn't seem like there's much. I also had a shine of the spotlight to see if I could maybe spot some reflecting eyes in the far distance, but I couldn't. So I think he's just really taking this opportunity to have a little break. It's a good spot if something does come walking out into the area. He could then go out and use all the long grass. He's got a termite mound for a bit of cover. He's got this fallen tree. So there are many, many different things that he can, of course, use to hide himself. But unfortunately there doesn't seem to be any impala or anything coming this way. And I'm too scared to go off-road anymore with this car, because I don't know if it's leaking while we're sitting here. Let me put the... no, it doesn't look like the fuel has dropped too much more. But we also won't really know, so we're sort of kind of stuck here at the moment. But I don't think he's going to stay down for too long. I think his stomach will eventually get the best of him. And he will keep moving, searching for something to feast on. I wonder if he knows that Tingana's not here, and that's why he's being so brave and hanging around on his territory for quite a bit of time. And normally when Mvula comes through here, he sneaks through. He doesn't stay on the property for long at all. It's just in and out. He uses it sort of as a thoroughfare between Simambili and Buffelshoek. Like I said, I was saying earlier, I didn't really go into too much about it though. He's been seen almost every single day by some of the Buffelshoek stations, and I'm sure the guides in the Manuleti, but he's been living around Sydney's dam and then just north of the dam wall too, around there. What was that? Let's take a step back. Let's go back onto the road and see if we can reposition. I just don't want to go all the way around again and stay on an area where it's nice and open. But it's pitch black though. Very, very dark. Now, this is quite an amazing feeling, of course. He's just down to the right of us. And tomorrow, you were saying you couldn't imagine what it must feel like to sit in the dark with a male leopard. It's an interesting feeling. When he's just sitting like this, I must admit, you don't get too excited. But as soon as those ears prick up, or when he does move through thick vegetation, it definitely gets the adrenaline pumping through your veins. Because you never know what might just shoot out, or you don't know what animals are going to be around the next corner, or when he's going to make his next move. Like I said, now he's waiting for something to come towards him, and I don't know what he's hoping to catch. There's going to be a number of different animal species that live around in this area, but it seems to be very quiet. As we drove up here, I didn't see any impala. We did see impala around here this morning though, in this area. So maybe they start moving in. It's very, very quiet though now. And it seems as though they do have the Nkuhuma lions. I unfortunately haven't been on the radio very long today, so I didn't hear any of the updates. I also didn't find out what they killed, or if they did kill anything. I'll have to have a chat to the guards a little bit later. I think a lot of them have stopped for sundowners now, so they're not on the radio. So there's lots of things happening at the moment, which is very exciting for us, of course. Let's hope that tomorrow morning is going to be a similar event, where we get to see loads and loads of different cats again. Maybe the Nkuhumas come back. Mvula, I don't think, will be around yet unless he makes a big kill. Like I said, he won't stay on the property for too long. Ellie will have to keep you updated as to how much longer she thinks Tingana is going to be on that kill for. Especially if Tundi's around, he might be sharing his kill with her. It's definitely not an uncommon sight in the Sabi sands to have various leopards feeding on each other's kills, especially if a female is coming into estrus. I have also seen it before with a leopard named Mashabeni and Little Bush, where they were actually seen moving around together in the morning, and then they ended up hunting together and feeding on an antelope of some sort. I've forgotten what it was, but they feasted upon that together, which was quite amazing. So he might do that. It'll be just interesting to see what happens if Kuchava comes back again after Mom has sent her packing, if she's going to come back and try and cause nonsense. But it's also about that time that Kuchava comes into heat, into estrus, and starts mating. But I hope that she mates with Quarantine, because I think the two of them would make gorgeous offspring. Can you imagine? Kuchava's a beautiful looking leopard too. And well, Quarantine, if you have seen him, if you haven't had the pleasure of meeting Quarantine yet, you might have to ask very nicely if anyone will share a picture or two of that beautiful boy, and we can hashtag Safari Life. And we don't have much longer to go. I believe we've only got 10 minutes left. This drive has absolutely flown by. Feels like we just started an hour ago. just relaxing. And the wind is dying down now, so he actually better get a move on and get stalking and find something. Otherwise, it's just going to be more and more difficult for him to make a kill. Right, let's go back across though to Ellie, who's still with Tingana.
Well, I think he has actually finished munching. Lethargic mode at the moment. Again, every now and again he puts his head up and he carries on towards this week, sleeping like lions. Very elegant of you, let me tell you. There you go, those beautiful poles. So like I said, Tingana, I've seen him make sure that there's absolutely nothing left that he cannot enjoy before he decides to move off. Major. And now you can finally kick back and relax. It is, look at this. We just moved to be able to have a bit of a better view of him without that stick in between us. And he's just rolled behind it once more. Very tricky. I would imagine he cannot sleep like that for too long, because I'm sure his stomach is weighing heavy on the rest of his body. So I wonder perhaps if he's going to roll back around in a little while. Who knows? Because imagine when you've got a very full stomach, you don't really feel like lying down, because then all of the weight of your stomach go and start squashing the rest of your organs. So it's pretty much the same for them. Although who knows? Maybe everything's just repositioning in there. Would be quite funny to know. If we could have maybe like an ultrasound, sorry. I think he's rolled around, so thank you for proving that I'm not talking complete nonsense over here. Your stomach does look a little bit heavy, boy. He's a bit restless. I don't think he's in that happy, sleepy mode that he was in earlier. Very alert of everything that's around him. Well, he's certainly had a stressful day being harassed by ladies all day long. I'm sure that was no easy task. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to listen to the radio, because I think that somebody was trying to come into this area, but it seems like they've decided against it. Oh, I hear another leopard sawing. So that's what you've been hearing. I wonder if perhaps it's quarantine far away, or if perhaps it was one of the females. I got so excited I didn't really pay too much attention. So it's just more to the east and south from where we were. So I think that's the last area where either Tandi or Kuchava were left. So it would be interesting to see if he does decide to go in that general direction, or if perhaps they will meet up again sometime during the night. What we're looking at. Still sounded like whatever leopard it was still at quite a distance from here. But definitely got his attention. I think this has been one of my most interesting leopard sightings in terms of all the dynamics that we've seen playing out today around here, and just how puzzled we all are by what we've been looking at. And I wonder now who this leopard is that was sawing far in the distance. Just had some audio for another Ingwe sounds, runabout, Chitwa driveway, probably closer to the airstrip. I really want this other leopard to reveal itself now. I'm going to say that I'm leaning more to Tandi being the one that was sowing earlier on, just because when she was fighting with Kuchava this morning, Shanae reported that she was vocalizing quite a lot. So I think maybe the fight is still going between mother and daughter for this particular territory. And that could be why she's sowing in the distance, or why there's a female sowing in the distance. Just claiming her territory. Very interesting. Who knows, maybe sometimes during the night these two leopards will meet again. It definitely seems like Tingana has got all of his ears perked in that direction. Got all of his attention. Kathleen, you wonder if leopards react to my voice or the voices of other people. I think they react to the level of noise that we make, and not entirely for the voices. Now, they're very used to our voices, and to them it's nothing different than, for example, the noise of the car, or they just associate it all with one thing. However, if I were to start shouting and screaming, likely I would just scare it off and he would run away very quickly, because they are not used to that level of loudness. I'm going to quickly use the spotlight. I can hear something around us, and I wonder if it's perhaps not another leopard. Because, I mean, anything's possible now. Can't really see anything here. It was worth having a look and checking around. But no leopards. No leopards here, only the one that we already know where he is, thankfully. I'm still quite interested. Although you don't look as alert as you were before. Very interesting day that we've had today, and I wonder how it's all going to play out during the night. And I'm hoping that if they do meet somewhere on one of the sandy roads, so that we can see their tracks very clearly and just try and figure out what it is that happened during the night, because I am very sure that just like yesterday was an interesting night for the lions, I am sure that this is going to be quite an interesting night for the leopards as well. We've got, like we said, we do know already that there's another leopard not too far from here, and while Tingana's here, the kill is finished, so he's got really no reason to stick around here, so he might just get up and start going and investigating, or perhaps he will leave it all together and head back to Djuma and just try to chase Mvula off the territory. What an incredible day it has been. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as Taylor and I did. And we'll see you all tomorrow morning to see what other mysteries we're faced with.